Okay, hello. I have decided to do my walking tour in Golden Hill. I actually live here, so I really like this neighborhood. Here's some of the houses. Just going to give you an idea. We're starting on the corner of 25th and Broadway. This also give you some idea of its proximity to downtown, but I'll show you again. I'm going to focus mainly on like architecture of buildings. I've lived in this neighborhood about 3 years. So I've seen some of these houses and buildings, so I took this chance to learn a little bit about them. So this one right here is the Quartermass Wild House. It was built in 1896. It's a Queen Anne Victorian mansion with classical revival influence. And that tower up there was designed to mimic the famous Gill Fountain in Horton Plaza Park. And this was actually the home of the former mayor, Louis J. Wild, from 1912 to 1921. But today they use it as law offices. Let's see if I can. It's beautiful. So we're gonna head east up Broadway towards 25th. So some things I found on the internet were a lot of these sidewalks are original. Yeah, I think these are it. And there's also these sidewalks that are pink out in South Park, which were the first. Let me back up. Golden Hill is not just today's Golden Hill. South Park is also considered Golden Hill. They just renamed that neighborhood over there. But they have pink sidewalks over around like 32nd Street in Juniper that were like the first part of some of the first big mansions and wealthy people that moved out here. This was actually one of the first suburb of San Diego, and it's always been considered a trendy neighborhood, or fashionable, I think was the word they used. It began, I'm gonna try and see if I can show you. And there you can see how close downtown is. It's about a mile, maybe, not even from here. Not even a mile away. So anyway, they used to call this neighborhood Indian Hill because this is where the Native Americans lived before they were displaced. Wealthy people came up here and built their homes, but almost immediately it was mixed with merchants and excuse me, with merchants and middle-class people. So it's always been an eclectic, mixed neighborhood, and I'd say that's probably still the same today. There's a lot of middle class, but then there's $2 million homes in here as well. The population is about 43,000, almost 44,000 people in Golden Hill. It's about 23,000 men, 20,000 women. The average household size is 3.06 people, and the median age was 34.53 years old. So you'll mostly find Victorian style homes, but you'll also see colonial revival, craftsmen, and I think they call them farmhouses or prairie home styles. And lots of planes right over the flight path. You can even kind of see the businesses here kind of have Victorian architecture mixed in with them still. That one, Los Reyes, has been here since 1993. That was, I don't remember the owner's name, but that was their first restaurant. And now they have several of those throughout San Diego. So I can't walk all the way over there because I won't be able to do this in 10 minutes. If I do, on the corner over here, underneath those trees, there's a restaurant called Golden Hill Cafe. It's been there since the 1930s. They've actually filmed a movie there called K-9 in 1989. And they have a signed picture of John Stamos on the wall inside. But I can't get down there. Good food though. This right here is where I'm gonna stop, find some shade. The fire trucks. Alright, so we're on the corner of 25th and Broadway. This is Fire Station 11. And it opened in 1913 as old number 6. And it cost $4,700 to make back then, or to build, excuse me. And they remodeled it to add the truck company in 1975. That's cool to see the trucks. And this current building opened in 1997, and it serves Golden Hill and the surrounding areas. And I believe it said about 2.85 square miles is their service area. So a lot of mixed use buildings here, but that's how the neighborhood was designed from the beginning. So it's pretty much stayed the same like that. A lot of churches. That's pretty common throughout San Diego, I'd say. And what's interesting about this area, so Golden Hill is actually a lot bigger than what I had realized. I didn't realize South Park and everything was part of that. But from up here on 25th and E, all the way that way, like what is it, like 5 blocks to A, and over to a block 24th. In 1895, a group of investors purchased that area. It was 40 acres. Excuse me. Yeah, anyway, it was a 40-acre purchase, and they actually named it the Golden Hill Historic District. It goes HRBE number 130, so it's a registered historical district. Here's one of the churches I was talking about. That one's a crash facility, so it's an intensive 90 to 120 day treatment program for men re-entering society, both after prison and just for addiction. You can go there and get treated. Right across the street here you have the Patrick Martin House. It was built in 1905. Here. There you go, the Martin House. So yeah, it was built in 1905. It's a classical revival style with Victorian influence. Patrick Martin actually served on the Park Commission between 1907 and 1915, and he was instrumental in getting Balboa Park ready for the Panama, California Exposition, which I thought that was really neat because I live 2 blocks that way, so I had no idea. I drive by this house every day. That was pretty cool. You can see the colonial revival influence, or excuse me, the Victorian influence on the second balcony, the roof. So lots of houses like this. So Golden Hill has always, like I said, been considered trendy and the place to be. From what I found, there were 2 exceptions. One in the 1950s. They brought in a lot of high density, low income apartment buildings, basically. Ones like that. That big one. And around that time was the same time everybody made their mass exodus to the suburbs. Everybody had cars. They were driving further out. And then the other time I found that the neighborhood declined was in the 1990s, and that was because of crime. But from what I understand, the neighborhood started coming back in the early 2000s, around 2004, when they began building and then finished the Petco Park Stadium, which is only about a mile away. I'm going to show you a couple more properties and then wrap this up. This is only around one block in Golden Hill, but they all look like this. They all have mixed use Spanish style houses, mixed use buildings. I saw a restaurant opened up on my street, and I live on a neighborhood side street last night, actually. This one right here is the Ray Newson house. It was built in 1898. The first floor is classic revival style, and the second floor has the a second floor half timbered. You can see that up there. It also has Gothic windows and Renaissance scroll work under the eaves. Let me see if I can zoom in here. Yeah, there you go. And what's interesting about this house is it's always remained residential. It hasn't ever turned into anything else like some of these other ones. Then I'm going to show one more house up here. Golden Hill was also one of San Diego's, it was rated San Diego's most walkable neighborhood. And I'm trying to remember the ethnic diversity of the neighborhood. I think it was 51% white, 36% Hispanic, 5% black, and 4% Asian. So, well mixed. This one, the Golden Hill house. It's on the corner of 24th and E. That's also a treatment facility, a crash facility for women, same as the church on the corner of 24th and 25th and E. You can see some more high density or multifamily. Some of them are new, some are old. And I found that on the websites that most of the neighborhood's always been very mixed from the beginning. I'll give you one more shot so you can see. There's downtown, maybe half a mile from here. So, all right, I hope you enjoyed the tour. Thank you.